For today's video, we are going to be once again visiting a meta deck. This time it's going to be Ebonheart Control, Ebonheart Slay, Ebonheart Ramp. It's got a lot of names. You probably know what it does, but in case you don't, this is essentially a ramp deck that tries to take advantage of really powerful slay effects and also lethal and pinging abilities. If you don't know what ping means, it means anything that deals 1 damage. It's an old CCG term, but this is another one of those decks that had a pretty decent representation at the first Master Series qualifier, and it's one of the first decks that I kind of showcased when Alliance War came out, so it's been through some changes since that time. This list is not the same. And then one final caveat is this is not necessarily what I would consider to be a fully refined list, because there are a couple of things that I've been kind of personally playing around with. For example, I haven't seen many of the lists including Brynjolf, but I like having a cheaper drain creature to maybe stabilize or combine with Unstoppable Rage. Also, Dongfang slash Duskfang is a really cheeky inclusion. The Duskfang portion allows you to get +3/+0, so sometimes that little bit of extra reach can be a benefit. It also allows you to have the Pilfer draw a card, and there are a number of additional ways you can trigger Pilfer. So if you're absolutely in need of refilling your hand, drawing more cards, you can slap this on a smaller creature, get a Pilfer or two in, maybe combine it with a crossbow or a gambit, kind of cycle your hand. On the other side of things, when it's the Dawnfang version, the Slay you gain 5 health is sometimes just straight better than playing Unstoppable Rage on a drain creature. Now, it's not going to be better than combining like Rage with Dark Seducer by any means, but if you've got a Falkreath Defiler that you're going to play Rage on anyway, and you're sitting on a ton of Magicka, or if there's an existing creature in the lane that could Rage and wipe the board, or even a cheap lethal creature you combine this with. For example, you slap this on like a Fighters Guild recruit and then Rage. It's like you had an amazing drain go off. Being able to slay, gain 5 health for each creature can be huge. So it's been fun, it's been cheeky. One of the other, includes that I'm kind of testing and playing around with, but again, for the most part, the core of this deck is the same. So we're going to take it for a spin, and like I always do, we're going to do 2 games, win or lose. Hopefully it's more wins than losses, and get a feel for how the deck performs. I just wanted to try to showcase a couple of lists that people might want to either plan for or consider playing if they are going to participate in the Master Series qualifiers. Hey, look. It would appear that my game is stuttering as much as my mouth has been this morning. Alright. So right out of the gate here, all powerful cards. However, these are a bit later, so we're going to throw those back. We'll keep this for defense. Typically in your opener you want 1 or 2 defensive cards that are cheap, preferably lethal, so you can combine them with cards like Gambit. You also are looking for Ramp, so Tree Minder is great, or just card draw / cycle, so Scouts Reports, Thieves Guild Recruits, things like that. This looks good.
The waters of life.
Go ahead and get that Tree Minder out there. Now, Guildsworn has been one of those interesting color combinations because it can come in so many different flavors. And right now we have a very, very good anti-aggro hand, but it would seem that we're not playing against an aggressive Guildsworn since we're going into Magicka turn 4 and they have not played anything yet. I mean, we could use lethal on this if we wanted to, but I think the reality is we just want to ramp more. Ramp more and potentially just trade in. Strong chance this eats a cast into time. No? Okay. Oh, never mind. It's a Piercing Twilight. My apologies. The point is that Histmage is a very common target for banish effects, and so I am not shocked in the least bit.
Roots of the hair.
That we ran into it there. We'll just go ahead and do this. It sets it up so Skaven can theoretically trade with either one. And we're gonna save the rest, I think, for now. Because our hand's not great. We'd like some draw. So we're gonna have to navigate this one
So little to do.
very carefully. And I say that because... Alright, well, let's go see what this gets us. Just discard, because we'll take whatever comes next. The reason that we need to navigate this very carefully is it's very clear my opponent is running a healthy amount of banish effects. We'll also camel here. We'll grab the Venom Tongue. Likely full complement of the Twilights and the Cast into Times. We have a lot of cards that we do not want banished. Alright, so they go with a wolf. I mean, really, we're just trying to fight for this Mania lane at this point. A couple of different ways that we could do that, but none of them very amazing. So we could play the Venom Tongue and the Sword. We could just play Brynjolf to deny. Well, we're going to do this either way. Let's go ahead and hit them there. Brynjolf is such an amazing tool for like trying to level off. Let's go ahead and just go with the Brynjolf path here. I expect Brynjolf to either get traded into or eat some form of removal, but that's fine if we're trading removal. One way or the other, what we wanted to do is we wanted to create a scenario where they had to do something to our camel. Alright. Let's go ahead and do this. Ooh. Ooh, I want all of these. I want all of these very, very much. We're gonna, I think, take the Rage. The Night Talon Lord we can get back from our discard pile, assuming they don't have another Piercing Twilight. Because we do have the Falkreath Defiler, so then it just comes down to, do we want Squish or Rage? And I think that Rage just has significantly more upside. So we're gonna go ahead and take that. And then we're also gonna shackle this, just because this should force out some more removal from our opponent. But it creates a dilemma for them because they kind of need to remove both this and this, unless they want me to draw a card.
They will not get past me. Will meet his doom today.
Or they could just play a really large Oathman. Play a really large Oathman. Alright, so our course of action now is probably to use this Defiler Rage combo that we just set up. So we'll go ahead and do this. Got to get rid of this ward here.
Steal from folks who ain't using it. That's
And
the
we'll go with
key.
the Rage. Now we gotta hope they don't have Dawn's Wrath, because that's gonna be rather annoying on our end, but we'll go ahead and grab Night Talon Lord. We'll grab Brynjolf
Put in a
back.
dishonest day's work.
And let's grab a camel so that we can dig deep. And out of these, this is a tough call. I really like the Shadowfen, but this Corner Club is attractive because it might draw us cards. I just have to assume they're going to end up having removal for that at this point. So we're going to go with the utility that the Priest provides. So Dawn's Wrath hurts. Red Year is available for them as well. as they are now at 10
The
magicka.
Fighters Guild stands ever ready.
Molag will meet his doom today.
Interesting. Alright, so the Defiler is a pretty good pickup. For a number of reasons. We also have this Venom Tongue that can maybe ping this as well.
I can smell your defeat.
Could use the sword here to kill this and get ourselves another camel. Could use it on the Night Talon Lord and just take it. Both of those are kind of attractive. They've got 8 cards in hand. We definitely want to make them try to overdraw a bit, I think. So let's do this. Because I like drawing. Alright, we're going to hit a prophecy. Because it's Guildsworn and they have a million prophecies. Alright, well, we'll just go ahead and do this and grab another camel then. And fast decision is Squish, because that's an activator. And we'll hold on to the Squish for now. Not only because we have a timer running, but excuse me. Squish is a really powerful card for us, so
You're not as powerful as you believe.
alright. No question about it, Marak is annoying.
Sniveling, take this.
Not terrible. Not terrible. Now, the one downside is that means that we're out of, like, juicy creatures to keep bringing back with our Defilers, but it doesn't mean that we don't have other good targets. But for now, let's get this swing in. We have plenty of other options. We have silences and swishes. We really only need 6 more damage. Because this means that we can do 10. Technically, we only need 5 more damage to push for lethal. However, we're gonna want to remove some of these. Let's go ahead and take the Viper.
I can smell your defeat.
Oof. Always the prophecies.
Citizen.
I wasn't looking for trouble.
Oof. Come on now.
Speak, citizen. My claws are sharp and thirsty.
All right. Let's do that. Considered using the Squish to maybe get back another creature from the discard pile there, but we really just want to draw more cards. And unfortunately, with them having the drain creatures on the board, like, they're gonna get health back, so
Like the dragon fires, as all true emperors must.
Ita Ori.
Sniveling, take this.
I will push
By the 8th, they will meet their makers.
Okay. Okay, okay. So again, our biggest issue right now is we just don't have anything big to bring back with our Defiler. Because Defiler and Squish is still potentially juicy, but not quite enough.
Do not vex me.
So I think we
I can smell your defeat.
take the ramp, take the hit. Tempted to use the debilitate just to deny Daggerfall Mage here. And the reason is because even though it looks like they have a lot of cards in hand, the reality is that they don't. Because they should have 2 forked bolts and another improvised weapon, which means they're really only sitting on 2 cards in terms of resources. So we're gonna go ahead and actually take this. Set up this. And I guess we'll leave that. I was considering also silencing there to get the drain off, but I care more about denying the card draw than the drain right now. There is unfortunately not a lot I could do about fighting for the Mania lane, though. Guess Shadowfen here could have done it, and then I could have just silenced my own Brynjolf. That would have been relevant. Oof.
I dispatched the building personally. You will fare no better.
And again, our biggest issue right now is just simply that we don't have anything good to pull out. Now we could get rid of the Moose with the Venom Tongue Squish. And then we could play Shadowfen Priest over here, just so that we deny the Mania lane. It's just not a great course of action. But again, we need to find some cards. We need to find some cards. Now, if we thought they didn't have removal, we could try to get our Corner Club Gambler back.
My claws are sharp and crisp.
Sadly, I think this is our best path.
You must be cleansed.
We're going to do it this way. Yep, there's the removal that would have been for our Gambler. I'd expected the 5/5 to come down.
You will fare no better.
Alright, well. They're going to get an extra card from the Mania lane, and that is a problem. Kind of surprised that we're having such a hard time finding good quality cards right now. simply because we played Camel as many times as we have. And we still have only really seen the one fatty. And then that was taken from us. This would be a fantastic time for us to find a Manny Marco. Manny Marco would be a juicy pickup. But instead, we're just finding tree minders. And that's going to be game. So, a little unfortunate. I mean, there's an argument to be made about maybe I shouldn't have been as aggressive as I was early on, but I felt like with the board state that we had, we were fine. We were kind of shut down by a unique legendary, and then our own lack of drawing additional answers. Yeah. But at this point, them controlling the Mania lane and them also finding their land enough to go get Sotha Sil will be it. Sure. Because they're just gonna never run out of resources at this point. So this is a very, in my opinion, disappointing loss. Potential play mistakes were...
It seems I must
I waited, I think, too long to play the Shadowfen over here. But, again, like, there's a Red Brahmin. We just, you know, we're really struggling to find any of our late game. Which is normally not an issue with this deck. But alright, let's go ahead and jump into game 2. I mean, we didn't even really need to play around the Banish, because they only ended up playing the one. Yeah, this is fine. Just some bad luck. Good old Manny would have potentially bailed us out. Oof.
What have we here?
Alright, Discounted Seducer has the potential to be legit in this matchup, specifically because we also have a squish.
Close ranks, let nothing through.
Well, that is one very relentless raider.
You will die where you
Let's heat things up.
Alright. That is one very relentless raider. I need them to not have Crusader's Assault here, because that would be...
I have no fear of you,
Oh, I also don't need them to have just a mil... Oh! Oh! Come on! It hurts! It hurts!
Blood and faith.
Let's heat things up.
Alright, so the good news is we have all the cards we could ever want, and our opponent is almost out of resources.
And now for a practical.
The bad news
Here's
is...
how it's done.
The bad news is... Oh man, how do we want to tackle this?
The hiss shall heal you.
I
I think we want guards in both lanes. Again, I'm really afraid of Crusader's Assault. Haven't seen this card ran very much. It's an interesting inclusion.
Here's how it's done.
We must protect the Night Mother.
Alright. Garnag is annoying, but not, thankfully, that much of a problem.
Wrong place for a midnight
Heal up a little bit. And go with the Venom Tongue Gambit here. Again, trying to stabilize, but next turn we'll have access to this with Garnag off the board.
We press on.
All right, if they have a clan captain,
Here's how it's done.
that could have been an issue.
Speak, citizen.
No, it was a golden initiate all this time. Okay. So we might actually see a concession come out,
Wrong place for a midnight stroll.
because we know that they just have the 2 Nords, and so like the moment that I do
Walk with our
This.
Lord.
into this. Yep, there's the concession. And that's kind of all you really need to do against the aggressive decks is survive. That's why I like running Skavens in my Ebonheart list, which is probably why perhaps I was punished in the control mirror. Those Skavens could be more late game cards, some more additional options, but when you're on the ladder and you are more likely, in my opinion, to run into some more aggressive decks, I think that having the Skavens is an important tool. So anyway, there you have it. Sorry the first game didn't go the way that I wanted it to, but we never found our late game. Maybe questionable that I pushed, but I felt like we had a good board position at the time. Anyway, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Until next time, may you walk on warm sands.